Hey guys, what's going on? Paul here. Welcome back to another Cardano catch-up, where normally every Friday, Saturday this week, we take a look back at the main news, items and events from around the Cardano ecosystem that caught my eye. So obviously the Muesliswap Refunds and their report on what happened with the slippage issue will be up. Parameter updates, we might have a date on that. Lots of project updates with World Mobile, AXO Trade Testnet getting close, Indigo, Lenfi, Liqwid Finance, Wanchain bridge is open. I'm sure we'll get a few more as we're going through it. If you get value, please do share it out, give the video a like, subscribe if you're new, and comment questions or even for the algorithm below. I really do appreciate it. Let's jump into it. Okay, timestamps will be down below because we have a lot to get through. We're going to start out with Muesliswap and their response to the issue that has been big talk across the community this week. Just in case you didn't hear about it, I did talk about it in my video last Monday, where every Monday we look into the price action of tokens on Cardano, and Muesliswap tokens had a big impact from this. On a very high level, they had a feature on their DEX called advanced slippage, but it turns out it wasn't advanced slippage. It was basically giving a tip or a premium to the batchers who were able to match your trades. So if we go into the DEX and just to see it actually, so you can see here when you come into settings, normally you have slippage up on top here. Slippage is how much less of the token you're willing to accept in your trade. So you put in how much you're going to sell and then what you're going to get back. It will give you an estimate here, but generally that will always move based on market action. So your slippage is how much less of the token you're willing to accept back and the trade to still go through. So they did have advanced configuration, and there was a warning on it, to be fair. Be careful, these settings might have unintended consequences, which is fine, but when you use the term, they had advanced slippage down here, and it was for Muesliswap pools. So a lot of people just picked it up, myself included, that this was the slippage you wanted to set for Muesliswap pools. Now, if you go digging through the documentation, then it was more a matchmaker premium or a tip, but telling that it might have unintended consequences isn't enough here, because it wasn't slippage, and slippage is a very common term across trading. So what happens with the feature was that whatever slippage you set, that was basically given to the off-chain batchers as a tip, and they were allowed to keep it if they can match your order, which if people had to know that up front, then not a lot of people would have used it or used higher amounts. So smaller amounts here are fine, and the feature potentially has some good use cases. This was the response then from the team. This was their report, and a lot of people were waiting to see who owns the wallet, the 2 million ADA wallet that was the off-chain batcher that was getting all these funds. Unfortunately, the report here doesn't tell us who owns it, but it really does sound like it was the Muesliswap team owned it, but we don't know. And look, if the feature was labeled right, then it doesn't really matter who owns the wallet, because the batcher was doing what the protocol was actually coded up to do. We'll go through it here. So it says what happened. We've kind of covered that. How did this happen? So they say the advanced slippage configuration was introduced, and they say up here actually what happened. It was mislabeled as advanced slippage with a warning, but look, warning wasn't enough in my opinion anyway, and it really was more a premium or a tip. They called it a tip, I think, in some of the other replies on Twitter to the off-chain batcher to match the orders. The wallet breakdown then that everyone was asking about, the 2 million ADA wallet, we were expecting here to be told who the wallet owner was. I'll give a few comments on that in a second. But down here it says that over the last 1.5 years, around 1.65 million ADA is associated with that matchmaker activities, and a portion of that is attributed to the slippage functionality. So they're saying that not all of that is due to the advanced slippage. This is due to normal matchmaking on the DEX. We're currently finalizing the on-chain analytics to identify, and what's going to happen immediately if you've been affected, you can raise a ticket on Discord and they will look into it on a one-by-one basis and give you a quicker refund. There will be a website set up where you'll be able to go in and check if you were affected and then claim your refund there. So it's great that there are going to be refunds for users. Claiming period though, this here is a bit questionable. It's only going to be 3 months. And this is an issue, I think, because lots of people have stepped away from crypto right now, and they might come back in 4, 5, 6 months time and see all of this and then not be able to claim a refund that they would have been entitled to due to this. So if they don't go the airdrop route, which a lot of people are calling for too, that it should be just sent out to users, then I think this needs to be extended to at least 6 months, maybe even 12 months, to give people time to come in and claim it. They say anything after the 3 months will go into a community treasury. This is a good part though, moving to a decentralized matchmaker DEX. So that means that anybody will be able to come in and run the off-chain bots, and I think it will be governed by Milk. So I presume Milk holders will be able to vote in who they want to actually run the off-chain bots or the matchmakers. And there was a little bit more there, but if you go down through it, you see the questions still outstanding kind of are that refunds should be automatic, and a big one is who owns the wallet. That wasn't specified here. My 2 cents on it is that unfortunately this has done lots of damage to Muesliswap. Muesliswap have done a lot of good in the space, in the Cardano space, since they came into it, but this really has done more damage than it should have. If they come out in the beginning and said about this that they had mislabeled the feature, it's not great, but it still means that the DEX worked as it should have. And if they said, look, we own the wallet, so we will just send back all of the funds to people who were affected by this, just airdrop them back to users, I think this would have went down a lot better for the Muesliswap team, and there wouldn't have been so much backlash on it. The fact that they haven't come right out and admitted who owns the wallet still leaves a question there. But look, I'll let everyone make up their own minds on this, where they go, what they do going forward. I want to see transparency in the space. It's great that this has been brought to light. It is now sorted. People will be able to claim back their funds. Hopefully they might change that to an airdrop, or at least extend how long people have to claim it. So that's enough on the Muesliswap issue. Now let's move on to what's up next. So we have the Parameter Committee intermediate state. So their latest meeting was had in July. And it says, based on a recommendation, the Parameter Committee will produce a formal Cardano change request. So this is to the SPO vote we had a while back, where the community wanted to change the fixed fee or down to 178, or the SPOs voted on it, and then the community voted by moving their stake. So the fixed fee is going to be reduced to 168 instead of 340. And the proposed target date for this is August 23rd. I haven't heard if this has been accepted yet, but it has been proposed to the key holders. They would need to sign it, and then it would come into action on Wednesday, August 23rd. When we get final confirmation on if that's going to happen, then I'll make sure and include it maybe in next week's video. Thought this was interesting from Pareto on the daily emissions from DeFi protocols on Cardano. So this is the number of new tokens that are coming into the market every day due to yield farming or due to staking or something else. And you can see here, if you look at it, that daily rewards in ADA. So the biggest ones right now are Indigo. So that means there is the most amount of Indigo coming on to the market. So there's 60,000 ADA worth of Indigo coming on. So a lot of people with Indigo, though this isn't just as bad as some other protocols, because lots of people are putting that into stake and to get involved in the protocol and governance, and that does have an impact on it. So if there is a reason for people to hold the token, then that saves a lot of this being sold off. Next up, you have MinSwap on 35,000 ADA worth. The MinSwap price has gone up since this. I think it's 0.07 at the minute. And the same with Liqwid. The Liqwid price has gone up. So I'd say that has gone up a little bit too. You also have Liqwid Finance on 39. Price is up slightly since that one too. But I will break that down a bit more in another video, talking about the impacts of this and why it's interesting to keep an eye on these types of stats. Next, we have AXO Trade. So there's been a lot of questions about AXO Trade over the while on when are they going to launch, when are we going to see testnet. There's a lot of people waiting on this. I've had Yarrick on the channel before talking about what they're going to be in terms of a DEX. And a lot of it looks like what you could do on a centralized exchange, you would be able to do on the AXO Trade DEX, but it would all be decentralized. And when you go through, I found this in their Discord, and it said, generally speaking, testnet is going to come with fully implemented protocol. So this means that everything in the protocol should be ready for the testnet, which rumors it's going to be later this month. But once I get a final date, I'll definitely let you guys know, and hopefully be able to talk to Yarrick just after that goes live to find out how the process has been getting here and see what the feedback is on the testnet at that point. So it's great to see that we are getting to this stage, and they have said that Protocol development is done as of today. That was yesterday, and is now going into the audit phase, which generally can last 6 weeks, maybe a little bit more, a little bit less, but that's generally the time frame for an audit. Next, we have Lenfi. So speaking of audits, Lenfi have started their V2 audit. So this is for pooled lending on Cardano, similar to what Liqwid Finance have done, but there are definitely differences, which I covered in my testnet review video and the interview with Mantis. So it's great to see the audit is starting. Once again, I think they mentioned something around 6 weeks for the audit. Then you look to see what the changes are, make any changes that are needed, get them checked. So generally, if that's 6 weeks, you're probably looking at 8 to 10 weeks, nearly best case, before you will be going live. But let's wait and see how it goes. Updates, I will bring them as soon as I have anything. On Lenfi, there is more votes ongoing at the minute to bring new coins onto the platform. The end of the vote is tomorrow, actually tomorrow evening at the end of the current epoch. So if you want to have any of these added, so ENCS, I have an interview with the CEO of ENCS coming up soon. IGON, IUSD, Opt to add Opt as collateral or as a borrowable asset, Gens and CPiggy. So if you are holding Lenfi and want to vote for any of them protocols, then you have until tomorrow evening. Then we look at Indigo Protocol. So Indigo, one of the most solid protocols on Cardano since they've launched. They allow you to create CDPs for synthetics. So they have got a bit of an overhaul, and I'll do a dedicated video on this during the week now that we have the new UI out. But as you can see, really nice, clean. If you go into CDPs, lots of new stats added in here to give you a far better picture of what's going on of both the overall protocol and also of your own positions. So when I do the dedicated video, I will step through this and show you what it all looks like. But as you can see from a quick glance, things are looking really nice and clean on the new Indigo UI. Then we take a look at Liqwid Finance. So they've started to put out monthly stats. This is something I think is a great thing for every protocol to put out. I'm not a big fan of the color scheme on this. It's a little bit hard to read, but it is the data that you want to see. Hopefully we see a bit of a change in the color scheme next month. But looking, it gives you the overall TVL, the total revenue generated. You can see down here then how much collateral or what people are using as collateral. ADA and ZED are the big ones. And on the ones that the loans that are actually being taken out, you can see ZED and IUSD are the biggest. So if you read on this, you would see that a lot of people using ADA for collateral and then taking out ZED and IUSD as loans on the other side. So this is a way for people to use the ADA that they have as collateral, don't have to sell it, but they can have access to the dollar value of a portion of that, because you do have to over collateralize when you are using it for a loan. But it means that you can use that ZED or IUSD in the market then to buy and sell, or use it in some of the other DeFi protocols, which we'll cover in the videos coming up very soon. On Liqwid Finance then, they have also what they do with the ADA that is locked in the platform or that's used as collateral. They delegate that out to community stake pools. So what they do is every few months, they allow any SPOs to apply for it. They had 85 this time. And then any LQ holders can vote on it, which stake pools they want to see being a part of that or get some of that delegation. It really is a big help for smaller stake pools to get a start on this, because I think it's over 1 million ADA at the minute. I'm not sure the exact value. So that is a really big help to smaller pools. And you can see these are the pools that were selected this time. Congratulations to all getting voted in by the community, and not all small pools. There's some bigger pools there as well. It's a help to any pool at all, but it's great to see them helping support community stake pools. Next up, we take a look at Wanchain, and the Wanchain bridge is now open. I actually tested it out and bridged USDT from Binance into Cardano. So we do have bridged stablecoins. You can bring in Bitcoin. You can bring in, I think you can bring in Ethereum. I didn't test that though, but it's great to see we do have these options now. Obviously, my first point that I would always go to is a native coin on the chain, because you don't have the risks of the bridge. And Mihin stablecoin for Cardano is going to be coming out in Q4. I have an interview with the team on that one coming out in the next few days. Great to sit down and have a word with them to find out what they're building and what's coming. That will be a fiat backed stablecoin, but it is good to have options here. And you can see actually BTC, ETH, USDC and USDT are all now accessible on Cardano. So during the week, I might do a video showing how all of that works and explain a bit more about the risks there too. Catalyst, I sat down with Stephen and Daniel from Project Catalyst to talk all about what Project Catalyst is, what it has been in the past, the changes in Fund 10, and what's coming up in the future. So it was great to get more insight into it and see more of the dynamics of how it works, and that they are listening to feedback from the community and trying to bring them into future versions of Catalyst. And as I record this one was yesterday from Daniel saying there are 7 days, so there's 6 days from today to register to vote in Fund 10. I will put out a quick video on that for anyone interested in how to vote in the next day or two. But it is fairly simple. You can do it through any of your wallets. Once you're registered, then you will use the app to vote later on. We talk a bit about that in the interview too, which I can leave a link to down below. Then we look at World Mobile. So World Mobile roadmap report. So they put out a few updates on this. So moved into released was the interchain or inter-blockchain bridge. So they are now using Chainport to bridge your WMT token from Cardano out to BNB chain, Ethereum. So I've seen it trading live on PancakeSwap and on Uniswap. And I presume based on this, you can bridge it to all these other chains, but I haven't tried any of them. And CoinFlux is the other one that we've seen the big partnership with the week before last actually. And I've seen it is now trading live on a DEX over on CoinFlux too. A few other updates there. Things moved into private testing. So KYC version 1, multi-chain wallet, paper wallet, the Pakistan payments provider integration. I haven't had access to any of this yet, but I'll see can I get something in the next week or so and maybe have some more information for you there. They say here about added to scoping is to integrate BNB and Ethereum information into World Mobile or WMT scan. So that's where you get all the latest on what's happening with World Mobile. And they had their latest buyback last Monday, and you can see that over on WMT scan too. Closing it out then, fantasy football. Anyone who's interested in the Premiership, myself and Paddy have the same league running again this year. So there's a free league if you want to join it. I can leave a link to that down below. We will be putting up some ADA prizes. Haven't finalized what that's going to be, but will do in the next few days. There's also a paid league that Paddy has posted in the Telegram group. It's 50 ADA to enter, and I think there's prizes from 1st to 4th and then maybe 2nd last at the end of the year. We ran it last year. Bit of extra fun during the weekends when you want to forget about crypto for a while and have a bit of crack over the football. Thanks for watching, guys. Hope you have a great weekend, and I will talk to you soon.